everyone, Darkwater here, back in Model Railway Easily. Uh, this episode, do a lot of forestry work, a lot of tree work, kind of around the front left side of the board as you're looking at it there. I do pull the water through here, fight with raising the track up for a little bit. I end up basically taking out the bottom half of it and then putting the gradient in just so we get a little bit. I accidentally lifted the entire track, which is something I didn't want to do, but it's back sitting where it should be. Uh, do add the gradient work there, and then slowly kind of take it across, but it doesn't line up quite how I want to right there at the end. It does kind of a little S bend and wasn't happy with it, so do a little bit of tweaking and fighting with the gradient, flatten everything out, and redo it again. Do that. I think this is the last time that I do just add the gradient. I also do a little work on the edge of the lake. I add another kind of little cliff area, a little scenic overlook, maybe where all the young lovers go and they have themselves a nice little picnic, look at the town lights, look at the stars. And at some point in here, I actually lost the engine. I don't actually know where it disappeared to, but at the end, I do put it back in there. But now we're just kind of flattening the terrain out, so we don't have just kind of random bridge. And then I believe we go into doing some work. Oh, by adjusting the terrain, it adjusted all those rocks, and it actually does that a second time later on, so I have to pull those all back down. But go through, do some coloring in the water, and again, yeah, here's where we kind of create the other scenic overlook. Add a little bit of an inlet to kind of create a little beach area there. Didn't worry too much about the engine just because I knew it was going to drive me nuts as it was going around trying to find little areas to look through. I kind of leave a few holes that if you're eye level at the edge of the board, you kind of get a nice little view of the town or the train coming through. I do use some of the taller pines over here just to kind of give some height variation. Otherwise, all the trees were relatively the same size, and so I wanted to do a little bit of variation and make it a little bit nicer. Here, putting in a bunch of the sand paint, do a kind of a pathway to the sidewalk there. So just something that people have been well used there as they walk on down to the beach. And then around the left side of the lake, where the new cliff is, I also do a kind of a walking path around. We'll do some fences along the road there to kind of give it a little bit of definition so that people aren't just driving down to the lake itself. I do like the black paint on kind of the little higher areas there. I like the way it looks, and it kind of blends very nicely into the water. So here we're doing a little bit of darker paint just to kind of give it a little bit of texture so it's not just flat uh, greenish brown. But a lot of tree work, just copy pasting and just kind of moving some of them around just to get a better feel. And some of them do need to be moved a little bit more just to create a more maybe natural grow maybe. Here we're putting in the walking path that kind of winds along the side of the lake and then kind of goes into the tree area. So yeah, it kind of ducks into the trees and up to the scenic overlook and just kind of over there. Don't think I really had a place in mind as to where it was going to go. It was just going to end, apparently. Um, we do a lot of trees here right now. The next one, we're going to be kind of finishing up the trees on the other side and starting to work on I guess, the right end of town where all the smaller buildings are, and start to flesh that out a little bit and kind of uh, start working on some of the details over there. So I went ahead and dropped Sally here. Sally's just kind of hanging out in the forest. Took her morning walk and was just sitting there looking over the lake. Maybe she was doing some yoga in her purple dress. I take some of the bushes and add them in also. And then I think I brought some of the ferns over also to kind of give the bottom of the forest a little bit more flavor, if you will. Uh, there is kind of one of the gaps that you can see in between the edge of the bridge and where the rest of the trees are. And again, that just kind of gives us a really nice view of maybe the cabin on the hill as well as the city in the background. So it's kind of a nice view if this was an actual board. Views like that are really nice to have. Again, using some of the smaller trees just to give it a little bit more variation. And right in that whole corner area, the trees are very road, and I think I do go through later and kind of adjust some of them a little bit. So there we're adding several bushes together just to kind of give it a little bit of variation, a little bit of height as well. And then I grab one of the larger one, drop that in a couple places, and that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this episode here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for being here and look forward to seeing you guys again in Model Railway Easily 2. And as always, I hope you guys have yourselves an amazing day.